I mean, I don't think the president thinks for himself. I mean, here's a guy who was very wealthy, had a lot of friends, and people liked him. He had a TV show. Do you remember? Like, got to go back to the days of The Apprentice. Like, that was a number one of the top rated shows on ABC. He had a lot of friends. The girls of the View loved him. He was on Saturday Night Live, and then he suggested that he would run for president.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, shows are canceled. Everybody hates him. He's the worst human being on the planet. He lost probably millions, if not billions of dollars.
He's made over $500 million in profit because he's been the president.
He's one of the
United
few
States.
presidents that lost money from being presidents, not gained money from being president.
Nobody would characterize that as Trump not making money from the presidency. Everybody around him made money, including his daughter and Jared Kushner.
Billionaire before he became president, and he lost a lot of money while president. Compare that to somebody like Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. These people were not millionaires before they became president, and now they're very wealthy people.
They're
And
not.
so,
They haven't received $400 million in campaign contributions, lying about
Trump
election
also
integrity.
had to pay $400 million to the state of New York on a fishing expedition in the civil. So Trump has had for as many benefits.
You could call it a fishing expedition, but I think most people would not characterize as that. You can't lie about your assets for personal benefit.
You know, and then I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with this. They said Trump misstated the value of his assets, one including Mar-a-Lago. They valued Mar-a-Lago like $17 million. And if you've been to Palm Beach where Mar-a-Lago is, you can't buy a parking spot for $17 million. All
right,
so
well,
I don't
listen,
actually think that was an
we don't have-
accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to get into the weeds there.
No,
The bottom line,
that's a total show in and
right? But the bottom
Yeah.
line is Donald Trump is far wealthier now than he was before he
I
ran
don't
for
know
office.
that that's true. I
Well,
don't know that that's true.
I think it's pretty evident. And
Yeah.
if you look at the two reasons why even people around him would agree why he ran for president, it wasn't because he cared about people like you and me or any of his supporters, quite frankly. The reason why he ran for president, number one, he didn't like the comments that Barack Obama made about him and his ego was hurt. And number two, he did it for his brand. He never thought he was going to win the presidency, but he did it because he thought it would help his brand.
I don't think that's. I don't agree. I mean, I respect your opinion on that. I just don't agree with it because I don't see any benefit that Donald Trump received from being president. He was impeached. He was investigated. He was almost murdered. I mean, what benefit does Donald Trump enjoy besides literally his entire family being scrutinized?
Easy answer. He loves being in the limelight. He loves
was
the
in the
attention.
limelight, though, Brian. He was already in the limelight. He had number one show. He didn't need to be president.
There's a lot of things he doesn't need to do. He could drive off into the MAGA bigot sunset if he wanted to, but he wants to be the center of attention. He wants to be the king. He has a massive ego. You can't deny that. He is a narcissist. You can't deny that. He loves being the center of attention. You can't deny that either. And the fact of the matter is that when you look at his behavior and his actions or lack thereof, he doesn't care about America. He only cares about himself and the people around him and the people at Mar-a-Lago and his billionaire friends.
Well, here's the good news. Before November 5th, we could speculate and have the hypothetical conversation of who he cares about, or at least the perception of what people think he cares about. But after November 5th, it became apparent that the majority of this country doesn't believe those things to be true, at least not enough that would make people not vote for him. He won this election.
By about 1.4%. So half the country still hates him.
Yes, but if you look at the where he won biggest, it was big swings towards Donald Trump.
He won all the swing states. He won all the swing states by about 250,000 votes. It was one of the closest elections we've ever had. About half the country still hates him. We are very
by 11 o'clock at night. Basically, it
wasn't that close. It doesn't matter what time it was over. Yeah. What matters is by how much did he win the popular vote?
He won the popular vote, right?
When
was the last time a Republican won both the Electoral College and the popular vote?
Well, I think that speaks volumes on the party that you're in. I think you're making the case.
But I'm talking about now, and I don't disagree with you. I'm a MAGA Republican, as you've established. I'm not a Republican, and I don't think Republicans have put good.
David, it's not, I hear you, David, and yes, he did win the popular vote, but this isn't some sort of massive win.
It is a massive win for Trump. It is
for Trump. It is okay. Well, I don't know what that means, but
what I'm saying, if you look between 2016, where he won but didn't win the electoral vote, I mean the popular vote, to 2020, where he lost, and if you believe that the election was fair, which I know you do, he lost by about 10 million popular, like lost by about 10 million votes, right? To Joe Biden's 80.
Wasn't that a mandate then? Was 2020 a mandate when Joe Biden won the
If
popular
you
vote by
go
10
from a
million?
guy who won about 68 million votes in 2020 and lost to Joe Biden's 80 million, if that's correct, and then you look at 2024, right? This is after, don't forget, the impeachment on his way out, all of these other things, right? And 4 indictments, right? Multiple civil suits, 1 for a sexual assault, as you've described plenty of times. And now in 2024, he won over 70, I think it was 74 or 70, yeah, 74 million votes. So he went from 68 million to 74 million in spite of multiple indictments, civil lawsuits, allegations against him. So, and he won the popular vote. So I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good swing going if you just track.
So saying it's a pretty good swing is different than calling it a mandate. Would you say Joe Biden?
He won the popular vote and the electoral vote.
No, I don't define that as a mandate. A mandate is not winning the popular vote by 1.4%. But with that being said,
in this country right now, that's a mandate.
Well, I disagree. I don't think it's half the country still hates him. But would you say Joe Biden, that was the mandate in 2020 when he won the popular vote by like 12 million? Was that a mandate?
I mean, let me tell you something. I don't know what the mandate was because I don't know if Joe Biden knew what the mandate was. What has Joe Biden done in the last 4 years for America? I mean,
that wasn't my question. Wasn't policy in 2000?
You want to know about the mandate? Was it a mandate? I mean, look, in 2020, I think, did we lose the House in 20? Yeah, we lost the House in 2020. I believe we lost the Senate in 2020. I have to go and time travel in my mind. It's been a while. And we lost the White House. And Joe Biden won by, if you think the election was fair in 2020, which you do.
Not what I think, though. I mean, listen, when you think Donald Trump was a good president, or you think
I was about to acknowledge your mandate, I would say yes. I would call that a mandate.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just didn't hear Democrats, going all over on every
That's
network.
Their fault. They should have seized on that mandate, but they didn't.
I just think it's Donald Trump and his people making the case that it was a bigger or a landslide victory when it wasn't. He won all the swing states by 250,000 votes, and he won the popular vote by 1.4%, which for the most part means for everybody that voted, almost half of them did not vote for Donald Trump. That's not a mandate.
That's true, but you also have to look back and remember the day before Election Day. People really thought Pennsylvania was going to be competitive. People thought Michigan was going to be competitive. People thought the Carolinas were going to be competitive.
People think a lot of things.
He won convincingly in those states. And we're not talking like Georgia margins, right? Where we're talking about a few thousand votes. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of votes. That is a big victory considering what people thought he would get the day before the election.
I don't really pay attention to what people think. A lot of people thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, wasn't that stupid?
A lot of Trump supporters thought that he was going to destroy Joe Biden. So, there's people that 7 out of 10.
Joe Biden got out of the race after one debate.
7 out of 10 Republicans still think that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. That's why I don't pay attention to what some people think. But it is what it is. Donald Trump did win. But my question to you is,